All right. Well, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to GWR Gonzo's Wrestling Room, February 20th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzo'S. How's it going?
Going well, going well.
And then we're also joined by Marcus Fine. How's it going, Marcus?
Doing good, doing good.
I just want to see if what you guys want to start off with. You guys want to start off with some maybe some independent stuff. Marcus, I know you went to show this at least one show this past weekend. I think just Saturday.
Yeah, we just went Saturday.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was a benefit show, and I cannot think of who the young person was, but somebody had passed away, and they needed. I guess he was a big fan of TCW, and it was to help pay for funeral expenses. And they raised over $1,000, and I was impressed because that's one of the biggest ones of those I've seen.
Cool.
I'd say they probably had 150 people were there. Very good show. It was a little long, I thought, because it was 11 o'clock before it let out, but it was good.
Any particular wrestlers or matches stand out to for you?
They had Mickey Midas, and again, I can't think of who he took on, but that was very well done. They did have a hardcore match with Blackheart.
Aiden
It
Blackheart.
wasn't supposed to start that way. It was supposed to just be a regular match, but he made the forced the ring announcer basically to make it a hardcore match. And I wasn't familiar with the guy that. See, a lot of those guys I'm not familiar with down there. Big Country and Big T was down there. Ruthless Domination, and they took on a team I wasn't familiar with. It was a good show. Good, solid show. Chris Chaos and Johnny Suede put on a good show. Johnny won, but it was very solid. What? Cody Love. Cody Love's who took on Mickey Midas.
Okay.
And I've seen Mickey Midas. We've seen him down in Kentucky. I was not familiar with Cody Love, but that was probably the match of the night.
Yeah, Mickey Midas. I've seen him a couple times now. He's very good.
Yeah, and Shane Mercer, I didn't even know he was there. They had a battle royal to start with, and as I'm looking, because the battle royal had probably 20, 30 people in it. And I yelled at Kelly, said, "Hey, Mercer's in there," and she didn't see him because he kind of blended in, but he won, and then he took on their champion, but I couldn't tell you who it was. And it ended up in a double count out because I told Kelly that's about the only way it had to make sense.
Yeah.
But, I had no complaints. The whole show was fantastic.
Yeah, I know we was doing that watch along, and you commented a couple of times. It had a couple intermissions that the show was so long.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
Well,
I was very happy to see because when I got up Sunday and started looking, there was a lot of independent shows that went on and a lot of full houses.
yeah, I seen that too. I seen when you posted that, and I know a lot of the shows did very well. That's good, especially like you said with the Elimination Chamber being on also.
Yeah.
I know New Era had a sellout.
Yeah. Well, TCW, I mean, I would have thought they were close. I mean, they were. Well, people don't sit down a lot. They have the chairs. There's a lot of people moving around, but there was a lot of people in there. So,
Because we probably would have went to New Era if I wouldn't have had that surgery.
Yeah. That's one thing I noticed when we went to that place in Cincinnati, the theater. A lot of people didn't use their chairs. There was a lot of people there, but a lot of standing around, a lot of moving around. Which, of course, they had a bar and they had drinks. So, I mean, but there's a lot of movement.
right.
Which is something I'm not real used to. I imagine you're not either.
No, we sat the whole time, and of course the intermissions we got up. But
Hey, how's it going, Chris?
Chris,
Well, I know you may not have seen it yet, but we watched the Elimination Chamber. We're going to touch on that a little bit. Marcus, it was a real good show.
well, I'll tell you funny. Big T and Big Country were sitting behind us after their match, and Big T had it on his phone, so I'm hearing it, and he's talking about it. So I kind of got it without actually watching it. So
The first two matches, the women's elimination match, that started it off. It was solid. Then you had the Brock Lesnar and Lashley. Too short for my liking. I want them just to beat the hell out of each other. I want to see more of that. And I thought it was too short. Had another disqualification.
Yeah, that's what I heard when it went off.
Uh,
He just racked him. So
well, I know Mark Henry was a big fan of it. He said, of course, he's old school. Mark Henry said, you don't have to have a pinfall every match, So I mean, but he was a big fan of it. I heard him today talking about it. But the first two were fine. The last three matches were really, really good. The mixed tag with Edge and help me out, Chris.
that Phoenix.
That Phoenix, yep. Against Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor, it was really good. And Dom Mysterio outside the ring was excellent. The crowd, the whole show was one of the best crowds they've had in a long time. Probably the only better one I can think of is probably the one over there in England. The one the
Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, Clash at the Castle. This crowd was, and it was only it was a sellout, only 18,000. Where Clash at the Castle was 60,000.
Right.
It was really good. The Elimination Chamber match with those guys for the U.S. title, I thought was very good. Of course, a lot of people have been talking about Montez Ford being the star of the show. Of course, didn't win the match, but did a lot of stuff. I thought all six guys got a lot of stuff in, got to look good. I thought they all looked great. It was really good. And the main event, I thought was outstanding. I know Billy Ray said that he didn't feel like you could do a better match than that. He said, "Well, no high spots, wasn't no, crazy moves. It was just working the crowd and just the facial expressions and he said he thought it was outstanding, and I did too. I really liked it. And they kept the story going. It can still go 3 or 4 or 5 different ways, and I think that's good. So it was a good show, especially the last 3 matches.
Right.
Oh yeah, the last 3 were real good. What was it? The last 3?
It had the mixed tag, had the men's
and
elimination
the women's elimination chamber was good too.
It was solid. It was good.
I didn't think it was as good as the men's,
No.
but it was good. But the match that really surprised me was the Edge and Beth Phoenix that mixed tag.
It was really
I thought
good.
I thought it would be a good match, but going into the last 2 matches, that was the best. To me, that was the best match of the night.
Yeah, it was. It was, and it was hard to beat. And but both matches after that really.
I thought Sammy and Roman was awesome. Even though I would like to see Sammy win, but I knew they wouldn't. I knew they wasn't going to have him win. But man,
well,
the way they told the story and
Yep.
and man, Sammy took Roman's head off a few times with some clotheslines. I mean, it was pretty physical. So
I think
I really enjoyed it.
I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to keep Sammy strong, make him a star, make Cody a star, keep Roman elevated, elevate Jay, they're trying to elevate everybody, as many as they can. And I think the story is going to be more of Sammy and Kevin Owens taking down the bloodline and Cody winning the belt for the Rhodes family. So I think they're kind of intertwining the stories and trying to make everybody as big as possible, possibly maybe a battle of the bloodline with Jey Uso and maybe some people against Roman Reigns. That could be after WrestleMania. So I think they're moving in a good direction. I think they're changing it up, and I think it's going to be really good. Well, if you guys ready to start on the topics we had, Marcus, you want to go into yours first?
Where are we going to cover first?
I think yours was what the tag team.
Jobber tag teams.
Yep.
All right, I got a whole bunch of them. I went through looking at them. These are basically guys that never won the world titles. They were but they weren't jobbers like, people that all they did was get beat. These were actual tag teams that were popular, but they never made it big, I guess.
Yeah, I did a little bit of both. I looked up worst tag team gimmicks. I did jobber teams. I did, and I looked at some different sites and stuff. And some of the people that was on their list of the worst, I didn't agree with. But I'll read them to you once we get going.
All right. Well, we had them last week. Powers of Pain. Basically, were Road Warrior knockoffs. I don't think they never held tag belts. They were just a big team to feed the stars, I'm guessing you could say. Really, the only reason, though, I think those guys was put together was to be Road Warrior knockoffs. Whereas Demolition was also, but Demolition actually was Vince's fight towards the Road Warriors and the NWA, and WCW, so they actually won gold, whereas the Powers of Pains never did. So,
Yeah.
Of course, the Beverly Brothers was just a team that filled a card, I think. You remember High Energy?
Yep.
I think that was just a way to do something with Owen Hart and Coco Beware at the time. So they put them two together. They wore those big parachute pants. It was funny because we seen them at Market Square Arena, and every time they wanted to jump off the top rope, they had to pull those pants up to their waist so they can get their legs bent and to make those jumps.
Yeah, I haven't watched that match yet.
I haven't seen that match. I did watch some of the show, and I'll be honest with you, and I know I'm gonna piss off some people. I watched the Eddie Kingston match against Switchblade, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think it was very good. And I know a lot of people are big Switchblade fans. And I know a couple of the guys that we did the show with the other night were big Switchblade fans. I didn't care for it. It didn't keep my attention. Maybe it's because after watching Elimination Chamber, I don't know, but I just didn't care. It wasn't for me.
I liked one part of it, and I did like when they were both chopping the hell out of each other.
Yep.
That was my favorite part of what we watched of it.
Yeah. And that people, so that was a sold out show in California, and it was sold out. I think it was about 2,200 people. Yeah, I heard that the Sasha match was a good match. I heard they wrestled for about 26 minutes. I know Kairi Sane is very good, so I'm sure it was a great match.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Remember the Can-Am connection? That was Rick Martel and Tom Zink. Tom Zink quit the company. I think that's why Can-Am Connection broke up, if I remember right. And then it ended up being Rick Martel and Tito Santana, Strike Force, and they did go off to win belts. But I don't know if they were going to do anything with the Can-Am Connection, but I think there was something happened, and Tom Zink either quit or was fired at the time. I can't remember why, but all of a sudden he was gone. The New Rockers, we know why that was put together. That was to give Marty Jannetty somebody to play with, so I think. You remember Well Done?
Yep.
Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn. That was another one of those like Beverly Brother type. We're just here to make the stars look good. I had the Russo brothers. Did they ever win tag belts? I thought they did.
I think they made won the belts, but then they got took away like real quick.
I thought they were like transitional champions. I thought they won them long enough to take them from one good team to another. I couldn't remember. I know they opened a lot of cards. The Rougeau brothers did.
Their problem was they was around with so many good tag teams. I mean, there were so many good tag teams in WWE at that time. It was hard to.
Yeah. I had Rhythm and Blues. Greg Valentine, Hockey Talk Man, both former Intercontinental title holders. Of course, Valentine was a tag team champion, U.S. champion. But as Valentine and Honky Tonk Man, I don't think that team was really anything other than a gimmick team. The Killer Bees, the same way, very popular, just wasn't, they were basically to make the betters. The Young Stallions, we talked about them last week. The Orient Express. If you remember, they did a lot of opening matches, especially if you start looking at all them old pay-per-views.
Yep.
They took on the Hart Foundation a lot, and a lot of those matches went to 20-minute time limit draws. But if you watch some of those earlier pay-per-views or late 80s, it might have been late 80s, 90s, before the Attitude Era, those Orient Expresses basically were opening matches.
Yeah, Sato and Tanaka.
Yeah. Well, there's also and then Kato ended up taking over because there was a third one.
Yep.
Kato came in. Pat Tanaka, he was, I don't know if he still is, he was working with, it wasn't the Micro Wrestling Federation, but a set of micro wrestlers. That one with him and Hogan. You remember they had it on TV. It was Hogan. I don't know if Hogan's still into it. I'm not sure Pat Tanaka still is, but he was part trainer, part promoter of midget micro wrestling group. So I had the Islanders. The Conquistadors. The funny thing about that is they could put anybody in a hood, and then they always swapped them
Yep.
because that was their gimmick. But again, they were opening. They didn't rank high on the match list.
Do you remember what was pulled years later? Conquistadors, and it was Edge and Christian.
Yeah, I remember that.
Underneath the mask, and won a match. I can't remember if they won belts, but I know they won a match against somebody. I can't remember exactly who.
And then remember, Kurt Angle did it once for the gimmick, or I don't know if it was a gimmick battle royal. But he won it. I don't remember who he's going after. I think he was going after Baron Corbin, wasn't he?
That may be right.
And he was a conquistador,
Yeah.
so we could get a match with Baron Corbin. And yeah, I've lost his name. Flash Flanagan was in that match, which is a local, and he was one of those. I think he played a Russian or something in that same match, that same battle royal. And it was funny because when he got eliminated, they didn't know his name. They said, "Well, they're with that guy," and that's how they put it when he was eliminated. And then I had the Heavenly Bodies. Just another. And then they showed one earlier. I forgot about the Dicks. You remember the Dicks? They were kind of like Chippendale guys, and
Yep.
So that's who I had on my list of tag teams that basically were to make the more popular ones look better. They were seasoned veterans, basically, most of them. They just never went anywhere with it. Kind of like the Bushwhackers. They were seasoned veterans. They just made everybody look good.
Yep, made everybody look good, and sold a lot of merch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kelly's a Bushwhacker
I
fan.
was a big Bushwhacker fan when I was a kid.
He was a big Bushwhacker fan, and they sold a lot of merch. And I like I said, I recently heard an interview with I can't remember if it was Butch or Luke. I want to say it was Butch, but said, man, they made a lot of money. A lot of money. So this is some of the stuff that I looked up, and this one here I thought was pretty interesting. This was from Sportster. It's from the worst tag teams in history. It had the Dicks, and it was Chad and James Dick, the Dicks. This was one that you didn't have, Marcus, and I don't know that they were bad, but they never made it big. The Mexicools, which was G.W.R, Super Crazy, and Psychosis.
Wasn't that a WCW tag?
No, that was when they got to WWE.
Okay.
And they would ride the little tractors in. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Two great superstars here, Hall of Famers, but they were it was kind of a weird the way they did it. Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah, we seen him in Indy. We actually the night they threw when the New Age Outlaws threw them in the dumpsters.
Yep.
That was in Indianapolis. We were there that night. And it was funny because when they hit that, all the packing peanuts would fly up.
Yeah. This one, let me finish before you guys start giving me hell when I say this name. Let me finish the whole sentence. The Legion of Doom, but let me finish.
I know where you're going with it.
It was Animal and I don't know if I can Heidenreich.
Heidenreich, yeah.
Heidenreich. That's the version of the Legion of Doom. That was bad. David Flair and Crowbar as a tag team. Listen to this one. Harlem Heat, about 2000. It was Stevie Ray and Armaya Johnson.
Well, I didn't even know that team. Was that in the WWE?
That was WCW.
I didn't know Armaya Johnson was in WCW.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
He was. The Harris Twins.
Yeah.
The Harris Twins were good in Mid-South and stuff, but they never really made it. I mean, they got up in WWE and they was part of the biker stuff, but they just never got as big as a lot of people thought they would. Of course, you have the Johnsons, the West Hollywood Blondes. This is WCW. Lenny Lane and Lodi.
Yeah.
This was one that I didn't remember, but see if you do. I did see the pictures of it, so it was a real thing. It was called the Johnsons. It was Dick and Rod Johnson. They came to the ring wearing beige latex suits to make themselves look like penises.
Yeah. vaguely remember that. Yes.
I seen a picture of that. I got to go back and see the video of it because it was pretty cool. Of course, I had the Conquistadors, the Malky brothers, who they were just got beat all the time. But the thing about that is they did NWA and WWF. They did both shows in the 80s and 90s. High Voltage, the Ding Dongs, that was in WCW. They weren't around very long.
No.
They wasn't supposed to be a jobber tag team. They was trying to make them a real tag team, but it didn't last very long. Fire and Ice, that was WCW. Fake Razor and Fake Diesel.
Yeah.
WWF.
I remember that.
The Mean Street Posse. The New Rockers, the New Rockers was that you had that the Jannetty and Leif Cassidy, which of course is, do you know who Leif Cassidy was?
Oh man,
Al Snow.
Al Snow.
Al
As I
Snow.
said, I remember, but I couldn't think of it. Al Snow.
Jesse and Festus and WWF. The Dynamic Dudes. Of course, that was Johnny Ace and Shane Douglas.
Who was Jesse?
That was early on.
Who was the one you named before that?
Jesse
Festus
and Festus. And Jesse.
Who were
That
those?
was Jesse was Terry Bam Bam Gordy's son. And
Okay.
Festus is Luke
Gallows?
Gallows.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You went a little further down.
Remember,
Okay.
because whenever he heard the bell ring, he would go. If he heard a certain noise, he would go comatose. Heard another noise, he would beat the crap out of it.
Okay.
If you guys remember that.
one.
But the Dynamic Dudes, that was Shane Douglas and Johnny Ace. The American Males, I know one of them was Buff Bagwell. I can't remember the other guy's name, but that was early on. Let me see. I had down the Orient Express. Also, this was a good tag team, but they never went anywhere. Crime Time, Shane Gasper and JTG. Fabulous Rizzo's. Heavy Machinery. That's a newer one in the last.
Yeah, and I loved Otis. I loved that gimmick those two had, but
I did too. I think they messed it up, but I thought it was really good. They were really popular, but they never really went anywhere. Enzo and Cass.
yeah, well, they kind of screwed their own selves up. So
Yeah, Enzo especially, and then Cass. Yeah, also. This was one from Bleacher Report, and this is going to be kind of interesting. It had High Energy. This is their worst tag team pairs ever for Bleacher Report. High Energy, Owen Hart, and Coco Beware. Okay. They had Hulk Hogan and Edge. I don't know how you put that as one. They had Ric Flair and Roddy Piper.
The worst
what
tag.
year are they talking for that?
I think they're talking NWA for Flair and Piper. Hogan and Edge are talking about WWE.
Yeah, that one I remember. But Flair and Piper, that had to be early 80s, I would think.
Yeah, I would think. Another one they had was bad. Jay Leno and Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh, well, that was you put them celebrities in there, and then you'd have crap anyway. But
had another one, Pac-Man Jones and Ron Killings. That was bad. But that was Bleacher Report. This is the 10 worst Bleacher Report 10 worst gimmicks of all time. Billy and Chuck tag team gimmicks. Billy and Chuck.
They did very well with that Billy and Chuck. I mean, they made the TV guide with that wedding that they were going to have, and then they never did it because then they realized, well, we're not really gay. But that made big news on that wedding that they were.
Oh yeah, they did. Of course, you had the Body Donnas. I believe you did. The Blue World Order.
They had Blue Meanie and Stevie Richards and
Nova.
Yeah.
The Smoking Guns. Now they held the belts quite a bit.
Yeah, and Sonny was their one of their managers before. She bounced around a lot. I mean, more.
Yeah, they held the belts 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that could be one of the worst or not. I think they was talking about the gimmick. They didn't like the cowboy thing.
No, that was kind of.
Yeah. The Los Matadors. That was Primo and Epico. That's when they came out wearing the Matador outfits. That was kind of bad. Wonder if you're going to remember this one. This was a WWE and a WWF, one very long. Techno Team 2000.
Yeah, I remember the name, but
Eric Watts, which was Watts' son, and the other guy I don't remember his name. His name was Chad Fortune. I really don't remember him. But that was his tag team. Deuce and Domino, with the 50s gimmick. I don't know if you remember that or not. This was another team that had some tag team gold, and the Godwins.
Yeah, but they held the belt, so right?
They did. And
With
but
Vince Money was their manager.
yep. Also, the Basham brothers, of course. I think you had that too. So that was some of the list I looked at.
You named off most of the ones I had.
Okay, well, the Matadors. Let me ask you: was that the one that had the little?
Yep. Had the little
Okay, he
Edge
works at the. He's one of the micros from Micro
is he?
Wrestling Federation.
really.
I've actually met him. Yeah, and he's one of the mainstays in Pigeon Forge.
That's I had them down the Los Matadors.
Yep.
Spirit Squad. I had Kai and Tai.
Kai and Tai. How could you forget Kai and Tai?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you guys said that Spirit Squad. So you said the rest of them I had, but
I remember the audit. Remember there was the oddities,
Yep.
and then who was the biker gang that? There was a biker gang. I remember that one guy was going. I don't remember who was trying to find Stone Cold.
Well, that was well, the biker gang. I'm trying to remember what their name was because the one brothers was in that. The Harris brothers, they were part of that.
Okay.
They were because they was twins, and then you also had Brian Lee. He was part of the biker gang.
DOA.
DOA.
Thanks, Justin.
What's up, Justin?
DOA.
Damien said Kurt Angle also wore the mask when he wrestled Eddie in a steel cage match.
Okay.
I think he's against JBL.
See, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I love the Bushwhackers. Of course, the Sheep Herders. I really, I only seen the Sheep Herders on TV a couple of times because their gimmick was so bloody they didn't show them on TV very often. Mostly, what I knew the Sheep Herders was from the magazines.
Sheep Herders took on. I cannot remember who they took on, but I seen them in India. The only NWA show I'd seen, but I cannot remember who they wrestled. And I think Jack Victory or somebody was their manager, but they were very heel.
Yeah, they had Jack Victory, and then they had another guy too. But I can't remember who it was. I think Johnny Ace. Yeah, Johnny Ace was part of their group. Yeah, Johnny Ace was definitely a part of the group.
Which is Road Warrior's brother, right?
Yep.
Laurinaitis?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, next we had Chris's group of stuff, and that was he had the most overrated wrestler. If I remember right? Okay. You want to go first, or
I can.
Okay.
I had I had Buff Bagwell, Sid, Kevin Nash. I know he was pretty popular, but in the ring he wasn't the greatest. X-Pac. Of course, Goldberg. To me, he's probably the most overrated.
He is now. At the time, he was not.
Yeah, I was never a Goldberg fan.
He sucked, but now they just need to quit shoving him down our throats.
That's true. And then I also had the Ultimate Warrior, which I was Ultimate Warrior fan when I was a kid, but wrestling wise, I mean, he was over because of the gimmick.
Yeah,
he went out there, just got everybody hyped up. That was the main ones I had wrote down.
Yeah, I can go next. First one, I looked up some stuff, and I'll give you those lists, and I'll give you mine. Bleacher Report, this is their list, and I think they got them kind of reversed in a way.
Yeah, some of that list.
Yeah. Their number 10, their top 10 was Buff Bagwell. They had Greg Gagne, Jeff Jarrett. I don't know if Jarrett deserves to be on that list or not.
Well, early Jarrett did, but he got better as he went on. So,
number 7 was Goldberg. Number 6 was The Big Show. Number 5 was Hulk Hogan. 4, Kevin Nash. 3, Sid Vicious. 2, Ultimate Warrior. And their number 1 overrated was Lex Luger.
Oh, man, I don't feel so bad with my list now. Because I was going to have to disclaimer mine to say, hey, this is my personal opinion. Don't get mad at me. These names.
I would agree. I think I don't have a problem with anybody on that list. I think Jarrett should probably be closer to the back, 10. I think Buff Bagwell could be number one.
Yeah, him and his mama, and yeah, he was just.
And then
It
I'll
wasn't
give
that
you
wonderful.
now this one here. You guys, you're going to find this was the one that you was talking about that was really jacked up.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
see what you think about this list. This is from Sportster. Number 10, CM Punk. Number 9, Ultimate Warrior. 8, Lex Luger. 7, Sid Vicious. 6, Kevin Nash. 5, Randy Orton.
And this is worst. They
Yes.
take overrated. Wow,
Yes.
there's some
Yeah.
odd stuff on there.
4, Batista. 3,
Mhm.
Triple H. 2, Hulk Hogan. Number 1, Goldberg.
Wow, some of these names are surprising me.
Randy Orton really.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
And Triple H, I know people don't like Triple H and everything, but the dude's a huge wrestling fan, old school. Worked his ass off, and did he get some advantages? I'm sure he did, but I think the man's worked his ass off too.
hmm
And I definitely don't think he's overrated.
No.
I don't think so.
But on my list, for me, I had a tie for 5. I had Goldberg, Nash. 4, Ultimate Warrior. 3, Sid Vicious. 2, Buff Bagwell. My number 1 overrated was Ryback.
That's a good one. I didn't think
Yeah,
of
I had
Ryback.
Ryback, but I marked him out because I didn't think he was worthy of even being on a list. But
Well,
his attitude got terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yes. His ego and attitude. Yep, it sure did.
Didn't we see him at Heroes and Legends?
I think we did.
Yes, he was their champion there for a while. Heroes and Legends.
So I think the last Heroes and Legends show we went to, he was on. He wrestled, if I remember right. When we took Landon.
He may have been. I think so.
Who did he take on? Drew Skills?
It may have been.
It may have been. I can't remember.
That's like April's big man there.
I know that was the
Drew
first time I
Skills
seen.
Because Jerry Lawler was there at that show too.
I got to see. We got to see Mickey Knuckles in a match, Falls Count Anywhere match, and I can't remember who she. Well, I can't remember her name, but it's a lady that wrestles for Impact now. She's a big woman also, and they did a Falls Count Anywhere, and they went all over the building.
Oh man!
And my grandson absolutely loved that match. He followed them everywhere, and they tried to. They had a table, old school table, and they try. And both these women, Mickey's a good sized woman, the other one's bigger than Mickey, and they tried to break that table, and they tried about 7 times, and that table it finally cracked, but it never went through.
Jason's always been good at that table that wasn't ready to be used for that reason.
Yeah, that table should have never been used.
it was a solid table.
And tried, and then she threw it into a trash can, and they had to come and get her out because she got so folded up in that trash can. I think it was Mickey got so folded up in that trash can. There was no way she was ever going to get out.
Wow.
And threw her up against the door, like when you go to a double door, and threw her up top up against the top part of the double door. It was just above it. It was my grandson. He was mesmerized. He couldn't believe. He never seen nothing like that before.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
And he was about what? Probably about 7, probably.
Yeah,
he was probably about 7 years old.
If you two don't stop over there.
Okay, Marcus, you want to go through your stuff?
Yeah, I was going to do a disclaimer, but since you named off a lot of them already, I had Batista. I've never been a fan of Batista. Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, however you want to put him. He was world champ. I think he beat The Undertaker one of the WrestleManias, if I remember right. Or maybe Taker beat him. Anyhow, I was never a fan of Sid Vicious. Scott Steiner. I thought Scott Steiner was good with the Steiner brothers, but when Scott Steiner went on, he was just a big steroided freak, and that's basically all it was.
Yeah,
you're
right.
JBL, because JBL is just a bully. Professionally, I don't care for JBL. So, and then I had Lex Luger as well. Lex Luger's sold a lot of tickets and stuff, and I'm not trying to hold his past against him, but I hear he was an ass in general to start with.
Yep.
I know we was at the Coliseum one day, and he was sitting over in the section that didn't have any people, and he had like 4 security guards around him. He didn't want people bothering him. It's like, well, if you don't want people bothering you, why are you sitting out here with us? It's like, but that's who I had. I had the Great Khali as well. I'm
And
not sure why they
real
put
quick,
it.
Scott Steiner was kind of that way too.
Yeah, yeah.
We was at a show he was at, and he was kind of a dick.
Oh, we actually.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, we were actually help putting the show on, and we was at an interview signing before the show, and just the way he treated some of the people at that interview signing, I was like,
I mean,
dude,
and these people are paying.
these people are paying to see you, and you're treating them that way,
and paying for your autographs. And he was pretty hateful with the kids and adult everybody.
Yeah, Scott Steiner was trained locally. He wasn't actually trained by Bruiser, but he was trained in Bruiser's group.
Yeah.
Like Chris Carter, Jerry Graham Jr.
Yep.
I think were the guys that trained him, but he worked for Bruiser. He was actually Bruiser's champion there for a while. So
yeah,
when he had no muscles, I mean, you wouldn't know it was him if you didn't know it was him.
Yeah, I remember that. He went by his regular name, Rockensteiner.
Right, yeah, Rex Steiner, something like that. Yeah. Because I seen a video the other day. Rick Steiner's name is something Rex Steiner in real life, and that's what he used. And I can't remember. I think it was a Bruiser team too, but he was already trained because they lived up in Michigan.
Yep.
So, see, and in the Ultimate Warrior, I don't know if he was. If you're going by ability, yeah, a lot of those his popularity based on his ability. No, he wasn't really that wonderful.
Yeah,
but he sold, and I was a Warrior, Mark, big time.
Oh, my wife loved him. We seen him against. I don't know if you remember this, Chris. You was there, but I don't know if you remember. We seen him down at Market Square in a steel cage, and it had the cage on top of it. It wasn't one of the other cages. It had the cage on top of it, and he had Earthquake.
Yep,
and he's lifting up Earthquake, and he's hitting the top of the cage.
They actually put a lid on it. Wow,
yeah, there was a lid on that one. Yep.
And see, I like I said, Goldberg was big, but they need to stop shoving Goldberg down our throats.
Yeah,
he had his time, and he needs to quit.
Do you think Big Show was overrated?
I think Big Show got a start. He shouldn't have got it when he did, because his very first match, he beat Flair for the title. That was his very first match, and I don't think they should ever have done that. But, of course, WCW put a belt on David Arquette, and I think Vince Russo had that title. And, I mean, WCW made some really bad mistakes.
Yeah.
Putting them on those. I mean, David Arquette said, no, do not put the title on me, and they did it anyway. He tried to fight that because he knew it was going to just be a destruction to this company if they did. And but yeah, I think Big Show did all right. I just think they shouldn't have started him like he did.
That, and then the other thing that hurt him, they turned him too many times.
Yeah,
from good to bad to good to bad. That was just too much. I think the part of the problem with Lex Luger, Ultimate Warrior, Goldberg, they never planned on even Sting, but Sting wasn't that way. Never planned on being professional wrestlers. They thought they were going to be bodybuilders, football players, well, whatever. Especially Lex Luger and Goldberg.
Well, right. The Rock was the same way.
Yeah.
But no, don't get me wrong. Rock was great, but he would never.
Yeah, but he knew about wrestling.
Yeah, he had family, but he never. I mean, that wasn't his plan. His plan was to play in the NFL.
No, yeah, that was his dream, playing in the NFL. But for Luger and them, never, they never was around with wrestling playing. Neither did Goldberg. And Goldberg was working at a strip club, and was found, and how he got into wrestling. So he never loved wrestling. It was never his main choice. But it was main choice. He'd been playing football. And Luger, I think, thought he was better than everybody and was above everybody. I think he's changed now, but of course he's had to hit rock bottom 10 times over to get to that level.
Goldberg only had like 5 basic moves. He went by his name more than his size.
And watching that last night, and that's one thing I blame. They said once he lost, or once he got to the top level, said we had to put him in the ring with guys who could really go. He couldn't just mow over anybody, and he couldn't do it. Well, if that's the case, that's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you train him?
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't go more than 15 minutes, I think, anyway.
Well, they said 7 or 6 or 7. What?
Okay, well, then I was being generous. So
that's what Bischoff said last night. I mean, why didn't you guys get him ready? Is my thing. And then the other thing last night watching that NWO special, Hogan threw a lot of blame on everybody but himself.
Yeah, well, he's always done that.
And I mean, he sat there and talked about, and he's seen it. He sat there and talked about Bischoff sitting with Rodman up in the seats, up in the
suite with the
suites,
with
and
the
smoking cigars and
yeah.
with strippers and stuff, and drinking, champagne and stuff, and they showed it. But then the next thing you see is Hulk Hogan sitting right with them. So if you're doing it too, shut the hell up.
Right.
I mean, and then Hogan had creative control. Anything? Well, they talked about the first thing that was their misstep was when Sting was supposed to win the title, and it was an 18-month build, and Sting had never been in a ring, hadn't wrestled, which I thought was a mistake. I think you should have wrestled some matches up. How do you not have one of your best wrestlers not wrestle for 18 months?
Right.
But that's what they did, and it seemed to work for them.
I hated it when they done that to Sting.
But anyway, they have the match. They get to the arena, and Hogan says, "I'm not feeling it."
It's one of them last minute Shawn Michaels traps.
Yep. I'm not feeling it. I'm not losing the belt. So they decided it was going to be a fast count. But the problem was the official, Sting was going to lose the fast count. Well, Sting didn't kick out, and the referee didn't do a fast count. He did a normal count, and Sting never kicked out.
Yeah, yep.
And so it was all screwed up, and then it was just a mess. And that was the first step of that. And then another one they've talked about, they didn't talk about in this one, but they have before, was when they overran the pay-per-view with Diamond Dallas Page and Goldberg. I believe it was Goldberg.
I think it was.
And
I think it was when the pay-per-view shut off.
Pay-per-view shut off.
That the very next night.
Yep. Yeah. So then but they didn't mention that last night, but they had mentioned that many times before. But I think there was enough blame. Of course, they run up the finger poke of doom, which was ridiculous. But and Hogan brings that up, but you was a part of it,
right?
Yeah. You had creative control. If you didn't want to do it,
he said it was the worst thing he'd done in his career or whatever. But he didn't take no blame for it. He put blame it on everybody else.
Yeah, blame it on everybody else.
I thought it was interesting that they didn't know what Sting was going to be, because Hogan wasn't sure he was going to be the third member.
Yeah.
Sting was going to be. Didn't know who the third member was going to be.
I mean, I was going to ask you that. Do you think it would have, if Hogan wouldn't have done it and it was Sting, do you think it would have worked with Sting?
I don't know.
That's what I told him.
It's like, I don't know.
I think it would have worked. I don't know if it would have worked as well. Of course, you never know. I think it would have worked because he was he was WCW's by far number one guy. So if he turns on the fans, I think it's going to get the reaction.
Yeah.
I think that well Hogan said, I mean, that's one thing he admitted to last night when he said we did this and we really didn't have any plan. He said that was the problem. We didn't have any plan. So we go back and we start doing these promos, and here I am saying brother and all this stuff, and Hall and Nash said, you can't say that no more. So you got to stop that.
Yeah, Hall, brother, there's brother.
You got to stop all this red and gold shit. It's over. You got to stop. And they got him to come around, and the merch said they had no idea for merchandise, and said they came upon that. They went to one of the teams there at the
Disney,
at Disney, and they came up with that one logo with the kind of broken NWO stuff, and they said they liked it, so they went with it. But they said that there was definitely some planning that they didn't think ahead of time, which he didn't. Bischoff said, I didn't know if it was going to work or not. He said, actually, when they started throwing stuff into the ring, he said, I thought we failed.
See, now I'm on one of those now. I'm just pissed off the fans enough to get them to throw shit. And it's like, I'd love to see that now. No.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to happen Saturday night at the Elimination Chamber. I thought when Roman won, I thought them Montreal fans was going to start throwing stuff. I really did.
Well, they did it right. They run Owens out, and he
let Sammy hit his kick at the end.
Let Sammy kind of knock Roman out. The fans got to go home happy still, and they were smart. They were smart about it. So I thought they did a good job with it. But it was We did see it at a football game. we was watching the XFL and seen the piss off the fans, and they start throwing lemons on the field. Sunday night. I wasn't expecting that. And they were throwing a lot of lemons on the field.
Yeah.
I was like, where are they getting lemons at? Well, they're serving lemons. Must have been serving lemon shake-ups because it was half lemons. And they're just throwing them, chucking them out on the field.
Trash, yep.
I bet you they won't have.
I've watched football for 30-something years now, and I've never seen that before.
It was all coming from the end zone, and it was all throwing it in the end zone. So it was crazy.
Then they start throwing cups and everything else. You'd have thought that in the old XFL when Vince first came out with it, not the new XFL.
Yeah.
Sammy looked confused at the media scrum.
I don't think he was confused. I think he didn't know. Probably, I don't think he did a lot of media scrums. And he told him, he said, I'm just going to be honest with you. He said, I may be able to give you better answers tomorrow. He said, I don't know how I feel. He said, I
feel strange.
He said, I feel strange. He said, I just performed in front of all these people. They gave me a 10-minute ovation before, a 10-minute ovation, after. But he said, I failed. I lost. He said, I really don't know how to feel.
He did say that the ovation that they got on SmackDown Friday night was the longest ovation ever in that arena.
It may have got beat Saturday.
But it probably got beat.
Yeah, the match started. They rang the bell, and the crowd goes crazy for so long. The match actually didn't start for another 7 or 8 minutes.
Oh, yeah, they didn't touch each other for at least probably 7 8 minutes, and that crowd just going crazy the whole time.
And that's the way to get the build-up going.
Yep, and Roman just over there in the corner laughing. He blew a couple kisses to Sammy. His facial expressions were. I know a lot of people. Well, my grandson's one of them. He said, "Well, Sammy and all these guys carry Roman in the ring, and is Sammy a better wrestler than Roman? There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt about it. But his mic skills have gotten so much better, and his facial expressions.
Yeah, those facial expressions, I love it.
Are top notch.
He's a good heel.
Yes, he's fantastic heel. And
when he was talking shit during the match and kind of shoving them in the face, just a lot of stuff he does is just great. And
Michael Cole's got so good on commentary. He brought up Ivan Koloff winning the belt, and I guess he won it in Montreal. As where Ivan Koloff won the belt in Montreal. Then he brought up Bruno Sammartino holding the belt for 8 years, and brought all that stuff up when the match was getting ready to start. So I thought that was really cool.
When when Koloff beat him, Bruno held the belt forever, and Koloff only beat him. I don't think it was a minute. Yeah. I think it was like a 30-second match, and he beat an 8-year champion. And the crowd went ballistic because, come on now.
Yeah. There was at the end, but if you haven't, you gotta watch it, Marcus. So Paul Heyman starts hitting Kevin Owens. It was all so funny.
Really?
Yeah, Kevin Owens comes in and stuns. He's taking over. Match is over. The match is over, and he comes in, and of course Owens is turned away from him, and Paul Heyman is just throwing like this, punches like this, and hitting him in the back of the back and stuff, and then Owens turns around like, really? And he starts saying, I'm sorry. He said, he said, I've always loved you. He said he pointed to Roman and said, it's all him. It's all him. He said, I never liked him. He said, I've always loved you. He said, I'll go with you. He was saying anything and everything. It was tremendous. And then Michael Cole's commentary on it was perfect too. Yeah, it was really good. So you'll have to check it out. Yeah, what does that idiot do? And ask me the stupidest thing he's ever done in his life.
Yeah, that's the first time he's ever done that, isn't it? I've never made contact with anybody before.
Yeah, he's throwing like this, and it was tremendous. Wow. Crowd went nuts. They're doing a really good job with this story. It's the best story that's been in a long time. I think. I think they might do WrestleMania in Canada. I think the only thing that from that press conference that Sammy said that might be a problem is finding a stadium. Yep. That was the only thing that about Montreal didn't know if they'd have the big enough stadium. I don't think it'd be a problem in Canada. If Montreal
Yeah.
might be more of an issue. I don't think it'd be a problem finding a stadium in Canada. Plus, I don't know how's the weather in Canada in April. So
I know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
because Damien is right.
Well,
He did say that him and Triple H were talking about it the night before
they've got
elimination
they've
chamber.
got the dome in Toronto,
Yeah,
so you could always do that. But outside, I don't know. Of course, they're doing Philadelphia next year. WrestleMania. Marcus, they're supposed to be. The rumor is that next year Royal Rumble is Indianapolis.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm going.
Because I'm guessing that, well, when they had WrestleMania, and I think still Indianapolis hosted probably the second worst WrestleMania ever. Honestly, I think WrestleMania 2 was by far the worst WrestleMania
Who was the worst?
because it was on a Tuesday. It was in 3 different locations.
Yep.
I thought Indy was a close second. I don't think because remember, it should have been Hogan and Flair.
Yep.
And, and again, you brought Sid in and Savage won. And yeah, but
it was okay, but it should have been a lot better.
But yeah, having
what's your favorite? What's your favorite WrestleMania?
Probably 3, I guess, because that was such a big build up.
It's hard to beat 3 because it's hard to beat the first one that was that big.
And then I like the one where Stone Cold beats Shawn Michaels. That was for the main event, not the whole as a.
Yeah.
Well, if you think WrestleMania 3 had a bunch of hokey crap in it too.
Yeah.
Because you had Hillbilly Jim and King Kong Bundy and
the midgets and
see, now, how do you do that? That's another one. Bundy was the main event at 2 and was tag teaming with midgets against the mid-carder at 3.
Yeah.
It's just like Paul Orndorff main evented 1 and was the opening bout in 2. It's like, how do you fall like that?
We've been watching a lot. He's been watching a lot of them old matches. And one thing I noticed is how loose the ropes used to be.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, nobody's jumping off of them like they do now.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, wasn't it the second main event? Because Hogan and Andre and Indy. Then the following year, it was when Hogan and Savage split. Didn't one of the Twin Towers? Was that what they called them? Boss Man and Akeem. What they call them?
I think it was Twin Towers.
And when one of them fell through those ropes, I was thinking that
Yep, sure did. Yep, sure did.
Boss Man.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I think it was Akeem.
Yeah.
Fell through, if I remember right. I don't know what would be my favorite. I'll tell you what, this last one was one of my favorites. It's top 5. I think I'd go with 3 also, probably as my favorite.
Akeem. Justin Danger said Akeem.
Yeah. Akeem, the African Dream.
Yeah, fell right through him.
I'd love Akeem, the African Dream. I love the one-man gang too, but I loved Akeem, the African Dream also. I thought it was a great character. I don't know that you can get away with that now.
But on WrestleMania matches, we brought up the Warrior, but I like the Ultimate Warrior versus Savage in 7 for career versus career. I thought good. That was very well done.
What did you think of the Hogan Ultimate Warrior?
At the time, it was good. Yeah. Now you look back at it, it's mediocre, but wrestling's evolved so much on presentation.
Yeah, that's true, but
Taker and Michael's main event was real good.
It was good, but it's something he's commented on. It's something that I miss. At Madison Square Garden, it seemed like you go back and watch some of the old ones, and they're packed. I mean, when I say they're packed, they look like they're got 2 times more people in it now than they did.
They look like people are sitting on top of each other.
Yeah, and it seemed like such a big event. Where I think with media and everything now, everybody knows what's going on, and there's so much news out there. You can find out who's going to be there, not going to be there. Back then, it wasn't none of that. I think it was more special. And like he said, man, he couldn't believe. He said they look like they're just right on top of each other.
Well, they basically are.
Yeah, it was just the setup was crazy. But I missed that because
and them old wood ass barricades that they used that if you could flip them and they'd fall over.
Oh yeah, if you touched it, it fell over because they had it set in this way instead of this way because they didn't want the fans to fall in. So if everybody's going to fall in, it's going to be the wrestlers falling in on the fans. Yeah, if you touched it, it fell. Had the wooden stairs.
Yeah,
well, they had a match between Undertaker and Kama he was calm at the time, the Godfather. They were in a casket match, and every time they smacked each other, they knocked the lid off. And then the referees had to pick the lid up, put it back on the coffin. And I bet they did that a dozen times. They kept knocking it over, putting the lid back on it. It's like,
what do you think about this, Marcus? It's one of them, I think. Best WrestleMania match ever, Edge and Mick Foley.
yes, that was good.
I think it's up there. One of my, it may be my favorite one, and I'm not going to say it's the best because a lot of people are going to point to Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and it was really great. My favorite was probably Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels.
I would say Flair and Michaels
because of the story.
Yeah, well, I also liked Rock and Hogan. I thought they did.
Yeah,
that didn't work the way they wanted it to.
Nope. Another good one.
They talked about that last night on that.
Daniel Bryan also.
Yeah,
when he beat Triple H and then made it to the championship, I thought that was really good. That was a good WrestleMania too. I think it was it 29?
I think so.
30? Something like that. It was a good WrestleMania also.
And I think that even made it a little more special because you knew that wasn't their plan, that it kind of got the fans.
Another good one was
kind of changed that.
Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels had a really great match too. I can't remember. I think it was a WrestleMania, but I'm not sure. It could have been another pay-per-view.
Well, if you want to touchy, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and Triple H. Was good at 20, and Triple H actually submitting, which you never thought Triple H would ever do that either. So,
and then you brought up one also that's really good is here last week, Owen Hart and Bret Hart in the cage. Story wise, story wise, yeah. I mean, and you missed my rant. I went nuts on a couple AEW wrestlers the other night.
Oh God!
I went berserk during our watch along because them guys are younger. A lot of the guys was the one guy was on. He's 25 and he wasn't on with us the last time, and he's a big AEW guy. And I kind of snapped on a couple of the wrestlers. So
it's. Yeah,
I went a little crazy.
I'm about to go crazy here in a minute. Thinking dogs are driving me nuts.
A couple of the guys were getting upset because they were getting worked because they said, I actually think Sammy's going to win. I said, they're doing their job. They're doing their job. That's what they're supposed to do.
Not at that kind of a pay-per-view. I wouldn't. If they did, that would have been shocking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Elimination Chamber is not a major pay-per-view, so.
But one thing I got to give them credit, they sold out Friday night SmackDown in that arena and sold out the next night they sold out over 18,000 tickets for both nights. So, Triple H has got it moving. Right now, he's got it going in the right direction for sure.
I think WrestleMania this year is going to be real good.
I do too. I really do.
And I think WrestleMania 13 that's the one where Stone Cold beat Shawn Michaels. I think it was 13. I think it made it so bad because you had WrestleMania 10, Owen and Bret Hart, and Bret Hart beat Yokozuna. Then you had 11, which was Kevin Nash versus Shawn Michaels, and it sucked. Then you had 13 or 12, and what was that? Taker versus Sid.
Yeah, you had one.
You had two pitiful ones in between 10 and 13. 13 was a refresher compared to the 2 years prior to that.
The 13 was what now?
Well, I thought it was like Taker and Sid Vicious, or that might have been the Bam Bam versus LT.
Was 14 where they had Stone Cold and Bret Hart? Where Stone Cold got the bloody face and passes out in the sharpshooter?
No, it had to be before 30. We'll have to have somebody look it up. Because it had to be prior to Stone Cold beating Shawn Michaels for the title. So
that was 17, wasn't it?
Man, I thought that's a little late, but it could.
That was 98, where Stone Cold beat Michaels.
That could have been then. Maybe I'm missing some, because I know Bam Bam had Lawrence Taylor.
Main event of WrestleMania 13 was Undertaker and Psycho Sid.
Yeah, and that was pitiful.
But see where Bret Hart and Stone Cold was. It wasn't a main event.
It was that same one he just said.
I was saying 13 or 14.
Undertaker and Bret Hart. Is that who you
Well,
said?
No, it was
Stone Cold and Bret Hart and that where Stone Cold's just bleeding.
bleeding and passes out from the. He wouldn't give up.
I have to look. WrestleMania 14 main event was Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels.
Well, then he had to go the year before that then.
So go to 12.
What was it? Well, go to 13. It was because Stone Cold and Bret Hart wasn't the main event. They were in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can pull up the
Because
whole
Stone
card.
Cold wasn't quite big yet.
No, that was they said that's the match that made him. Because it was kind of a double turn because the fans started booing Hart and started cheering Stone Cold.
It was 13.
Yeah. Because he had him in that sharpshooter and the blood's just pouring out of his head.
It was 13 because you got right there's the poster.
Yep.
Stone Cold and Bret.
So 14 was when Stone Cold beat Shawn then.
No, I still think that was
Or am I
98.
14 was in the main event was Stone Cold. Stone Cold beat Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 14
Was
main
it?
event.
Really?
So it says
then you start having him taken on The Rock like 3 different times because Stone Cold and The Rock was 3 years of 3 WrestleMania main events. 2 back-to-back, and then they skipped one, I'm thinking.
Michaels performed despite his severe injury and wouldn't perform again until 2002.
That was 98. 14 was 98. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because 13 was 97. Yep.
So that was another one. It's like Hogan and Andre was the main event at 3, but the main match was Savage and Steamboat. And the same with like Sid and Undertaker. The main match was Bret versus Stone Cold. Stole the show.
Okay. Marcus, let's see if you remember this. I'm trying to remember.
Sorry for being political. Do y'all think if 9/11 didn't happen, do y'all Undertaker versus?
No, I don't think it'd been good.
I don't either. Now, what was the other one that was a real bad WrestleMania? Which I didn't think it was very good. It was the one that had Giant Gonzalez and Undertaker.
Well, that was 9.
9.
Yeah, because that's where Yoko beat Bret, and then Hogan had to get the belt. So then, that pissed me off. See, I was a good Hogan fan, but when he ended up beating Yoko and taking the belt back, no, I was pissed off. My dad and my mom was here, and I was not happy when.
That was outside, wasn't it?
Yep, that was at this Caesar's Palace.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Undertaker come out with that vulture chained to him so it wouldn't fly off. And
remember
muscle suit.
Yeah,
my favorite part of though is Bobby Heenan coming out on the camel backwards.
yeah, I remember that too.
That's my favorite part, and that was Jim Ross's debut.
Yeah, it was. They also had Hogan. That was Hogan and Beefcake took on Money Incorporated. Was one of the matches. Shawn Michaels was in the main or the opening bout, but I can't tell you who he wrestled.
I want to say Martel.
It could have been.
I think it was Rick Martel because he had Sherry with him, or Sherry was part of it. She was like playing both sides.
Yeah, because they had that.
All of them were wearing togas. Yeah, Heenan
was great.
Yeah, in the togas.
And that's another thing they brought up last night with the Andre thing. I think Andre would have worked as a heel. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he would have worked as well without Heenan being there with him.
Justin's right. Shawn took on Tito.
Okay.
When they made Tito the El Matador, which made no sense because Tito was a main guy on his own. He didn't need to.
Yeah, he didn't need that
downgrade him. It's just like Tony Atlas going to Samba Simba. Tony Atlas was already well established, and then to degrade him.
Yeah, for his in-ring ability, that's an underrated guy. Is Tito Santana. I mean, I know he got the Intercontinental title, but he was really, really good in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Really good in the ring for a long time.
Billy says great political matches were Sergeant Slaughter.
Well, that's back when you could do that. I don't think you can pull that now, but back then, yeah.
Oh, well, like Sergeant, after the other big political stuff was when Slaughter turned bad guy and went over with Iraqi supposedly, or Iran or whatever. He got death threats. His wife got death threats. They had to send people to his house.
Yeah, the Grand Wizard.
I remember when he was on the plane and he told he wanted Slaughter to do it. Vince did. And Slaughter said, "Do you know what you're doing?"
He said his wife was mad.
Oh yeah, his wife was pissed.
Hey.
Yeah, Tito and Martello's strike force was good. See, because I don't think Martello and Tom Zink would have done as well as those Tito and Martello did. So,
no, Tito was really good in the ring. I think underrated. I don't think people realize.
Well, I think the same with Rick Martello. I know he's a former AWA champ.
Oh yeah,
but he has so much potential that they just didn't use.
Yeah, Martello was really good in the ring.
They made him the model. See, that's another one. They give him them dumb gimmicks that.
He was a good heel, though. He was good arrogant. I mean, he was such a baby face, milk and cookie, apple pie baby face. That then when he went bad, he did it really well.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite AWA world champs when he beat, Jumbo Shiruda. He was Jumbo beat Nick Bockwinkel in Japan and then come back over here. And
how'd you like Bockwinkel?
Bockwinkel was very scientific. He couldn't make it into today's. He's too scientific. He didn't have the charisma of today's standards, but he was very scientific. Him and Vern Gagne, if you ever watch some of their stuff, science textbook.
Oh yeah. Another real good. I know you'll remember. He's not going to Billy Robinson.
Yeah.
Technician.
Well, have you ever seen some of Lutez's stuff? That guy was really good technical.
Oh yeah, fantastic. One thing that was during the press conference, and I think you've seen it. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you did. Triple H would start talking about the Elimination Chamber. He started talking about Pat Patterson, and he broke down a little bit.
Yeah,
about Patterson because Triple H loves Pat Patterson.
Well, Pat Patterson was very good.
Yeah.
So WWE wouldn't be where it is today.
Talked about him a couple times.
Oh yeah.
And both times he talked about it, he got choked up.
Yeah, because for many people don't realize for many years, creative was basically two people. It was Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson.
Well, if you ever seen the Pat Patterson, I'm guessing it was his documentary. Vince was so flustered he needed help, and Pat said, "What about me?" And that's how Pat got it. Pat was going to help him out, and
Justin says most AWA, NWA champs that went to WWF got watered down or bad gimmick.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Good or bad gimmick, Mr. Perfect?
Well, I thought Mr. Perfect was good.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
He never got the world championship, but he had the AWA. He was undefeated for a long time.
Right.
He got the AWA.
For a while too.
His promos, Mr. Perfect promos were awesome.
That's one thing that Vince was really good for a long time was the promos, man. They could shoot promos and vignettes really well.
Well, they got a Mr. Perfect documentary. If you haven't seen it, it's really well done. It's old, but it's
I've seen it.
I love it. And he's throwing these old football, running down the catching these.
Yep.
Perfect game of pool. Yeah.
3-point shots. Everything.
I agree. That's just like Razor Ramon doing that.
Billy, them Chihuahuas are about to get put in a steel cage match.
Sounds like they're already in one. Falls count anywhere. Happens to be in your studio.
Man. They've been worse tonight than they have in a while. They usually will stop after a few minutes, but they not tonight.
Well, what shows you going to this weekend, Marcus?
Well, if Kelly clears, and I'm sure she will, it seems like we wear her down. Warrior Pro, we'll be at Warrior Pro, and then we're going to try to get the second half of JICW.
We'll be at Warrior Pro on Sunday.
We need Dallas. Tyler Scott wants to know where we're eating, so we'll need to figure that out.
Okay, I was going to ask your opinion on something. We're trying to decide where we're going to go
you're going
next weekend.
You're going to ask this live on here?
No, I don't care. I'm not putting down any shows. I'm just asking you because the one thing I'm leaning towards NGW. The only downside to NGW, I don't think they have internet.
Not out there, they don't.
So we're not going to be able to
Yeah,
do
I haven't even
We're not
messaged
gonna
him
be
to
able
ask
to-
him yet.
We're not
but-
going to be able to do it live. And we've been offered to go to WTF, which we like. But I mean, I like both shows. I'm trying to decide. We're trying to decide where to go.
I'm going to NGW. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
I was going to go to Wrestle Theology, but when NGW announced theirs, then NGW trumped. And it's nothing against Wrestling Theology. It's just I know talk was so long, and
I'll promote both shows if I don't go to either one of them. I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
it's not that kind of issue.
Yeah, I know.
well, I don't want anybody to think that
Yeah.
I'm putting. I think
It's tough because I mean you get to know all these guys, and then the shows are on the same days, and it's like,
well, there's a show in Illinois on Sunday. We even talked about maybe trying to hit, but you know that's further and
yeah, I'll be.
I don't know if I'm ready to try to do two.
No, we weren't going to do two. We were just going to do whatever we was going to do this weekend. We was going to do one
Or not this weekend. That
next weekend.
or no, that's still 2 weeks.
2 weeks
because we got
this week's
got Warrior Pro this week, and then the next week we got Summit Pro.
Yep.
Okay, well, that Summit Pro, if it works out, well, we got tickets already for 5-star in Jeffersonville, and then we're hoping to hit Summit Pro on our way back home.
Okay.
And we was going to hit Supreme on Sunday, but then we got 2 grandkids whose birthdays fall right there, and we had their birthday party yesterday. That's why we didn't do Supreme.
Yeah.
Now in April,
Seymour or Spencer or somewhere south.
we got 5 shows scheduled for April already,
and something already for Saturday the 6th. Not a show, but
yeah. And then we got that Sam's gala on.
I gotta go to.
So we got 6 events on in April already.
All right, let me tell you what I got. Let me see.
They're going somewhere the 1st, by 2nd. We're not. We're going to WrestleMania.
Well, April 1st will be Lebanon cage matches, WCW.
Yep.
All right, the 24th is the Hall of Fame.
Yep, we'll be there.
The 25th will be in Kentucky. I've already talked to Vinny and all them, told them we wouldn't be around for that. We hope to hit the micros on the 29th. We'll be in Pigeon Forge. We were going to base 3 days in Pigeon Forge, but I think we're basically just going to go in, see the micros, and head back out.
We're not doing nothing April 1st or 2nd because we're going to watch WrestleMania. But then the next weekend we got Summit Pro.
Okay, now I may be in Frankfort, Kentucky on the 8th.
Actually, April 8th we have
DCCW.
DCCW. The 9th.
I may be in Frankfort, Kentucky on that day.
The 9th is Summit.
Yep.
And then the next weekend is
AACW.
AACW.
22nd, NGW anniversary in Crawfordsville. I'll be at that one, but you got DCCW, I'm guessing.
Yep. Well, that's the 22nd.
And the 29th is JICW's online.
I think the 20 is either the 23rd or 26th is Warrior Pro.
That'll be the 23rd in April.
Yep.
So the Summit Pro is going to run on Easter Sunday?
Yep.
Are they
already
really?
told us he's going to run the night because he's not. He didn't want to run against WrestleMania on the 2nd. He said he was going to run the next Sunday.
I hope he hits well.
Yeah, because we'll be
Easter Sunday.
We'll be 8th, 9th, 15th, 22nd, and then we've got that gala on the 29th.
And the 23rd,
and then the gala on the 29th.
Yep.
Well, we got in March we've got the 24th, the
Hall of Fame.
25th, the show, and 26th,
Warrior Pro.
Warrior Pro.
And see, we won't be at Warrior Pro in March because we'll be down south. I have Jeffersonville on the 4th, NGW Burnettsville on the 11th, Summit Pro on the 5th, the Illinois show, New Version Wrestling on the 12th. And then I'll just have to see. That's what I have so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, April's real busy. March is going to be pretty busy too. We just have to figure out where all we're going to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, April, we have something every weekend except for we're going to be watching WrestleMania. But that's the only reason we're not going nowhere that weekend because my son always comes over and
I cook a bunch of food and stuff. Have a little party.
Go try to hit a Tennessee show if I can get it pulled off, because I'm thinking they're running every week, but I have to see because then it'll be on a Saturday, so I don't know.
I want to get down to that. I want to get to that one Illinois show.
Yep.
Yeah, the first one of those is March 12th. And then I think they run every other month. I think. They did last year.
If we can't get there in March, maybe we can get there in May.
Yeah, maybe May. I think May's right now not a real busy. I don't think DCCW is going to do anything in May. That's just my opinion. They don't have anything booked yet. But with 2 shows in April, I kind of figured they might not do nothing in May.
Well, JICW is May 20th if you want to put that on your books.
Okay.
And then what's the 17th? Oh, that's a doctor's appointment. You don't need to know that. That's in the middle of the week. It's like, what's that? But yeah.
You said the 20th?
20th of May.
Okay.
Said where are you going April 8th? Was that Kentucky?
Possibly Frankfort, Kentucky. We've been invited down there by Scott Diamond. He's my contact for Kentucky. Him and a guy named Brandon. Brandon runs Triple Crown out of Jefferson, or not Jefferson, Somerset.
Kurt Angle.
Oh, yeah, that's Kurt Angle.
That's Kurt Angle.
I forgot. That's Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I'm getting opportunities I'm getting invited a lot of places. So I kind of knew it was coming.
Have you ever been to a SFCW in Georgia?
No, I have not.
No.
Never been that far yet.
No, haven't been that far either.
Well, Jared's trying to get us to go to Colorado.
Yeah. If Mike King has his way, we'll be in Colorado here before too long.
Hey, did you see where Logan Myers and Dutch Boy was in Wisconsin this past weekend?
Yep. Yes. Yeah. He had told us he was heading up to Wisconsin, and he's going to be at NGW. Dutch Boy is.
He's
Ace Anderson.
The last Burnersville show.
He's going to wrestle Ace Anderson at that next show.
And they got Justin Dangerous taking on that Russian fella. I cannot think what his name is.
Man. Krylov or something. Alexander Krylov or something like that.
Yeah, the Russian guy.
Which is one of his top heels, one of Larry's top heels.
We want to announce our next topic for next week's show. We're going to do the Monday Night Wars. That's good with you guys?
Yeah, we probably do the whole show on that.
Yeah, we'll do the Monday Night Wars next week, and then
tomorrow we have Damian Michael Cole interview tomorrow at 5:00. It'll happen this Tuesday. Last Tuesday was the last second thing because of Valentine's Day, and he said he was going to get killed if it.
Then you guys have Austin Casey on Wednesday.
Yep. Austin Casey on Wednesday.
He's really wanting the plug hit the 5-star because the 5-star show is a benefit show for, I think, all of his coworkers, he said.
Okay.
Yep.
I know I met the kid once last year. He's a nice fella. So I don't know a lot about him, but he seems real eager. So.
And then next Wednesday, March 1st, we have Justin Danger.
Oh, good. March 1st.
And
you need to, because I'm not a big. Are you playing heel? You have to be playing face that day because the Russian's always the heel. Because he took on Jason Levi the last Burnersville show.
I'm working on getting some other ones scheduled. I didn't do much of trying to get anything scheduled last week.
I didn't do too much.
Well, Austin contacted me wanting me to do like instant interviews. Like I don't do interviews, but give me a minute. I will try to get you somebody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that night you got with me. He got with me like just a few minutes after that. And
remember the guy we had on T-Ray?
Yep.
He said he was getting ready to wrestle
Joey Janela.
He's getting ready to wrestle Joey Janela from AEW. Well, it used to be with AEW.
And I forget who else in a triple threat match.
In a triple threat. He's getting ready to wrestle a couple big names. But like I said, he's wrestled in front of 3,000 people.
I'd like to see him get booked around here sometime.
I would too.
That'd be pretty cool. I enjoyed that interview with him that night.
Justin's ought to be good. I've known him since 2001 when he literally was a kid. Yeah. Him and his tag team partner of Phoenix. It was Anarchy in Phoenix, and then he went to Just Justin, and now he's Justin Danger. And like I said, I didn't even realize it was him because I hadn't seen him for years, and he had the beard until he looked at me at the last AACW show, looked right at me like, hey, you know who that is? It's like, I tapped the guy, it says it's Anarchy. It's like, because I hadn't seen him forever. I had seen him at all those AACW shows. I just never put two and two together.
I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to one tomorrow too with Damien Michael Cole. I think
I
that's
don't
gonna
know a
be
lot about him, so I'm interested to hear his story as well.
I know he's been in the
Yeah,
business for a long time.
sometime, Marcus, you're going to have to get to one of them shows. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Oh, I will. I just got to see because they're going to run same time as AACW, so it's going to kind of be hard.
Yeah. Probably going to have to wait till ACW has one of them.
Let's see.
When they take the break.
March. The next one's March 18th.
Yes.
Justin Myers invited me to New Era as well.
I think March 18th is their next one.
Yeah, New Era's next one's March 18th.
March 8th. No, I have nothing on that day.
Because we'll probably go there in March because we know DCCW is not going to have a show that week, that Saturday.
Yeah, Shamrock and Shenanigans, I think it's called.
I just put it on there. I put it on there, so we may make it to Shelbyville.
We was at it last year, Shamrock Shenanigans last year. It was a good show.
Well, they always do good work. Brody Dawkins wrestles on that show. Like I said,
Myers, Hadley. Sam Knight's been been there.
Sam Knight,
last couple shows.
Another real good dude I like.
Well, Dutch Boy was there last month. Don't know if he was there. Well, he wasn't there this month because he was out of town, but he was there last month. I know.
Did you see the Emerge main event change? It was supposed to be Braden Lee taking on Justin Kyle, and Justin boogered up his elbow or something. Now it's Braden Lee taking on who's the guy that took on Hillbilly Jed?
Calvin Tankman?
Yeah. See, I just had that name. You start talking names, I start losing them.
I'd like to get to an Emerge show. I'd like to go watch one of their shows.
I'm telling you, if you can't get in the broadcast, you need to get your tickets quick because boy, does he sell out fast.
Yeah, that's right. He came on
a long time ago, before I was doing it.
Yeah, it was back when we kind of first started. He came on. He said they almost sell out about every time.
Yeah. And Cole Radrick is running a show the end of April, and he's already sold almost 75% of his tickets, and he's got some main guy coming in, but
that's another one I'm working on getting the interview with.
Yeah, we're trying.
With Cole.
I would think getting Eric Dravin would be good too. He runs Supreme, has been forever. He runs shows every Saturday.
We need to get the Martinsville guy on.
Yeah.
Steven.
Yep. This just wasn't a good month because that you were running Warrior Pro. I didn't think you should have had Steven on booking his when you were going to be. But yeah, I can get your contact info to Steven.
And Prestigious Worldwide wants to come on.
Oh, do they?
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
So I'm working on a date, but yeah, Buck messaged me about that. Said that they wanted to come on. I was like, yeah, we can definitely make
that'll be fun.
So yeah, just working on. Got anything else?
No, I think I'm good to go. Like I said, next week, next Monday, we'll do the Monday Night Wars. Will be our topic.
Okay.
You guys kind of think of something maybe we can do for the next one, March 6th. You guys try to come up with something.
All right. Well, I got a little list of stuff here, so we can talk about that next week.
Okay.
But yeah, Monday Night Wars, we can do the whole episode on it.
Yeah. Maybe talk a little independent.
Like I said, join us tomorrow for the interview with Damien Michael Cole at 5:00.
You got a show again tonight.
Yeah, show tonight at 11. Yep. Oh, check out the new ASAP Sports Network mobile TV app. You can get it on at the Google Play Store if you have an Android phone. You can also get it on Amazon at the Amazon Play Store if you have like a Fire Stick and a Roku mobile app. You can go on there. It's basically on demand. You can pick what you want to watch, like all the ASAP shows. They'll load them up there. I don't know how quick they're getting them up there. Like tonight's show will be on there. I just don't know like if it'll be on there tomorrow but so go check that out. It just launched this morning. I went and checked it out. It's pretty cool app. So if you watch a lot of the ASAP shows, go check out that our new mobile app. That should be another way to really help drive some viewership up. Especially being at that Google Play Store, because everybody gets them apps on their phones now, and you can just click on it. Just a little icon that comes up on your phone. You can click on it, and it gives you access to all the ASAP shows. So it should be pretty cool, especially once they get everything, all the bugs worked out of it, and how they're going. I know some of our wrestling interviews are already on there because when I was on there earlier, I saw some of the wrestling interviews was on there.
Will this show be on there?
Yeah, it'll end up being on there. I don't know when, but it'll.
Cool.
Because they got they got to put it on there. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know who's doing it and how often they're updating it, but I know it will be on there. Because I saw the Dalton Love, Zay Gates, Dutch Boy, and some of them interviews was already on
And I
there.
know she said maybe some of the wrestling shows are going to go on.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll put those on there as well. So I would say give it a few weeks and it'll get better. It'll get even better just because, like anything new, any new technology, you run into a few bugs and kinks that you got to work out. But we appreciate everybody watching. Marcus, we appreciate you joining us again.
Yeah, always.
We'll see you on Sunday.
Monday.
Yeah, we'll have to get with them about where we're going to eat before
Don't
the show.
make it spicy. Kelly's stomach cannot handle that spicy stuff. So
Okay.
that's the problem we had last month. But
All right. We appreciate everybody watching. Like Dad said, we'll be back tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, talk some sports. And I know you're getting ready to go watch Monday Night Raw. That's why I'm probably going to watch it as well.
Yep.
I'll find this video here.
Yeah, they're going to be from Canada tonight, and I know Edge is going for the U.S. title
against Theory,
against Austin Theory. And Trish Stratus, rumor is she's going to be there tonight.
yeah, she's Canadian as well, so it could be.
Rumor she's going to be there. I think going to be setting something up for WrestleMania. So
good.
I'm good to go.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys for another episode of GWR on Monday. Or next Monday at 6:30, but like I said, we got interview tomorrow and Wednesday, and then we got one next Wednesday, and like I said, I'm working on some other ones. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.